And thank you for joining us for the second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. These cases, unfortunately, just don't go away. Teachers who sexually cross a line with their students. Let's take a look at this case of 8th grade teacher Christine Cockrell. She worked at Gatesville Independent School District in Texas. Cockrell has been arrested after sharing pictures of her breasts with a 15-year-old student. According to investigators, she also asked the victims to do the same, or the victim to do the same, and share nudes in a chat on Instagram. She also allegedly told the child she wanted to take a younger guy under her wing and teach him stuff. Joining us to talk about it, Educator Arnetta Murray, Fort Bend County Constable Nabil Shaikh, and Precinct 7 Constable-elect Smokey Phillips. So, Constable Phillips, I mean, this happens a lot, and you guys are not surprised by it in law enforcement anymore.
Well, it appears down to be an uptick in that type of behavior. It's just the same as uptick in assault of teachers getting assaulted. So I look at it, a part of a teacher who engages in conduct is a part of mental illness, I think. Mental illness or seeking attention from that student. So I think that it's a behavior that when I was in high school, it never happened. I mean, teachers adored us. Their daughters were being good students, but after hours, they didn't send us pictures of their breasts or some type of private part. So
they would have had to mail it to you with a Polaroid.
Yeah. So the Polaroid picture put in your backpack. Yeah, you don't look at it, you know.
But serious situation, Constable Shaikh, what can be done about this? Obviously, it's happening over and over again. Is this just the society we're living in now?
You know, unfortunately, I hope not that it's the society that we're living in. You know, I have 3 daughters that are growing up right now. It's very sad to see. You know, it's very sickening for a teacher who's entrusted to take care of these children and is, you know, sending inappropriate pictures and telling a 15-year-old child that, hey, I want to groom, you know, a 15-year-old child. That's sickening. Like Constable-elect Phillips said, there might be some mental illness that's going on. I think right now education is real big. Something that we have to do is educate our youth. You know, a lot of the youth don't understand that even between 2 minors, them sending explicit photos of each other is a crime.
Right.
And
it becomes child porn.
It becomes child pornography. And I think a lot of it has to go down to education.
And when we see, and Constable Phillips made a good point, there are some teachers who are looking for affirmation, approval from students.
Yeah. I don't know why that is. You know, I mean, there's plenty of grown men and grown women in this world. There's 8 billion people in the world, right? So, affirmation from a child? Really?
You know, I have to speak on this because being an educator, let's just be clear, that type of behavior happens in every facet of life. In policing, things happen. I'm not condoning it. She's absolutely wrong. But let's not make it seem like it's just teachers doing it. It happens in other professions as well. Unfortunately, she was wrong. What she should have been doing is taking pictures and sent to Greg Abbott about how to fund our schools, how to make sure that teachers, we have classrooms with no teachers. Take a picture of that and send. But what she did to that kid, that's just unacceptable.
And when you hear that as an educator and you hear case after case after case, and it can go for any profession, but we're talking about educators now, when you hear case after case, what does that do to you and your confidence in your industry and your colleagues out there?
Well, let's be clear. We already know that, for me, I know that at least it's 80% of teachers that are doing their job and not doing that. So for me, it just shows me that, you know what, you have one or few bad apples. That's a bad apple. And if I focus on the bad apple, then I'm going to think all other teachers are like that, and they are not like that. Unfortunately, you say it's mental illness. I say if you're a grown-ass person, you made that choice, and you're making that choice inappropriately. Why would you want to even fool with a kid? Have a boundary. Some people need boundaries. She didn't have a boundary.
Well, also, I think when kids go to school, they look for a safe spot, a safe place to learn, to meet their friends, and go to gym and all that kind of stuff. So they don't look to this type of conduct that a teacher say, hey, I'm going to send you get your phone number, then send you some pictures.
But that's not the norm. Again, I'm in the classroom and I'm with teachers. That's not our norm to sit.
No, I'm not saying it's your norm.
Yeah, but it's not the, yeah. And I'm letting you, and what I'm trying to say is that that's one teacher that made a stupid mistake, but you cannot hold that stupid mistake and make it look like all of us are doing it. And that's all I'm saying. Why would she do that? I can't answer because I didn't do it. She did it. Why would she want to deal with a kid? And that's ludicrous. But again, that's not what we go to school for. We go to educate. We go to make sure we're examples. And that's just the bottom line.
Well, I can say we do have great teachers.
Thank you so much.
I was a student from a great teacher.
Thank you.
And if
Thank
I
you.
can just say, I talked about education, and I see a problem, you know, when we see our jails, right? A big problem that we see is I think our federal government, our state government is investing way too much on incarcerating our young men and women. I think it's about $100,000 a year per person, whereas a student, they're only investing about $10,000 a year. So if we want to fix the problem, I think we should reverse those roles, and I don't think you'll have these kind of issues anymore.
Absolutely.
All right. We want to thank you all for joining us here on The Factor. Great